So welcome to Friday on the Pagan Perspective. Fridays are normally Feather, however, she's going to be taking a temporary sabbatical. She wanted to let everybody know that everything's fine. She just needs to take a little bit of time for herself. So in the meantime, probably through the end of May, you'll be seeing either myself or one of the other substitutes on Friday. So let's get into the topic. This week we're talking about an issue that has been discussed before, and it's something that tends to come up quite a bit. And that is, how do you deal with loved ones, friends, family who don't share the same path as you? And we have two specific questions. The first one comes from one of our younger viewers who's 15 and says that they are a very devout pagan, and yet their parents are not very supportive. And our second question is, how do you deal with losing someone, being left behind by a loved one, a family, or a friend who finds out about your path or your practice? So this week, some of our previous hosts, I think, have done an excellent job at really tackling the issue and talking about that. So I'm going to try and keep this brief and just add in a couple things that I think may be useful. And the first thing is to maybe try relaxing a little bit about the labels that you're using. Kind of let those labels go some. It may not be as important to actually tell somebody that you are a pagan or a witch or whatever the specific term is that you're using for your practice, because those terms may have a very different connotation for the folks that you're speaking to. And by not using those terms, you're not changing what you are or who you are. You're just speaking to someone in a manner that is going to communicate more clearly what you are trying to say. Because if the word is getting in the way, then why use the word? And I understand that, for some people it really is important to reclaim the term witch and to reclaim the term pagan, but you may want to evaluate at this point in your life if that is a battle that you really want to put your energy into, because you have a limited amount of energy, and where you choose to put your energy is very important. And you may find that just talking about what the things are, what the core values and beliefs that you have are, you may find that you have a lot more in common with the person that you're speaking to than you think. I know that Cara mentioned that in her video, and it's something that I've definitely experienced in my life, living in a predominantly Catholic part of the world, that despite being a different religion, there's a lot of things that we hold in common. And so when I talk to someone, I make a point of really trying to find what those things are. And at that point, it becomes a much less threatening thing. I make a point not to use the term witch, not to use the term pagan, unless I'm specifically and directly asked about that. Now, the second thing is to perhaps evaluate when it's actually appropriate to talk about your path, when it's appropriate to talk about your practice, because it isn't always. And it doesn't change who you are, what you believe, what you are, by not discussing it with folks who are not. There's a lot of things that you can talk about. There's a lot of things that, again, talking about what you believe, but you don't always need to bring that up. And the more relaxed you are about it, in general, the more relaxed people are going to be in response to you. If you're really rigid and tight and just very concerned about how you're going to be perceived, or about people knowing that you're this way, or you're really scared about them being upset and leaving you for it, the more likely they're going to pick up on that energy, and that's the way that they are going to respond to you. So relax a little bit, evaluate and maybe let go of sometimes using some of the labels, and look at when it is appropriate or not appropriate to talk about your beliefs. And that might help a little bit in preventing the situation of having loved ones get upset and decide to leave you behind. And it might also help your parents, if you're a younger person, be a little bit more relaxed or understanding if it isn't something that you're continually trying to shove in their face, or using words that for them mean something very different than means for you. So I hope this helps a little bit. And everyone, if you're having a spring, have a great spring and enjoy. All right.